Composition is the heart of your photography. Here's wisdom from 6 world-class photographers: Joe McNally, Camille Seaman, Ed Kashi, Joey L., Deanne Fitzmaurice, and Bambi Cantrell.
One of the time-honored precepts of composition, if you will, that is in a game without rules is actually a pretty good quote-unquote rule, is the rule of thirds. Use the edges of the frame. Be dynamic in your composition. Try something completely whacked, okay? Try photographing half of somebody's face instead of all of their face. Try, distortion, as part of your graphical or compositional effort, that all of a sudden the building's keystone and things get a little zoomy that are not quote-unquote correct, but are graphically dynamic and actually might lend themselves to a picture that grabs somebody's eye. That's what you're trying to do with composition. It's the invitation you're making to someone to get involved in your photograph and go, not just stay with the foreground of it, but meander through them, the middle ground and into the background of it.
Awesome. How about composition? Any tips for great composition?
Don't think of it as three-dimensional. Think of everything as shapes, and you're arranging the shapes in such a way to interact and to activate space, to push things forward and pull things back and draw your eye here or guide your eye there. When you understand that and you do it that way, composition becomes like a ballet. Really, it becomes a choreography.
There's a phrase that I don't know if I've coined it, but that I certainly refer to from my work, which is candid intimacy.
How do you get that?
Well, it's that idea, like when someone looks at my work and they say, how did you get so close to the people, but it's like they don't know you're there.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, okay, that's it. I've achieved that candid intimacy. And the truth is it can happen in a 20-second interaction with someone I've never met before, but the image can have that feeling like, oh, he found his soul, the person's soul.
Right.
Or it can come out of, a month of going back and forth to a subject. And that's the sort of mercurial nature of photography, of still photography.
Composition, I really like balance in the frame. It doesn't always have to be rule of thirds, but one thing that I like to do is I like to take really kind of long panoramic images with people in them, and I like to place them in the frame the same way that a lot of old master painters would do, kind of like verticals and horizontals, and try to make some kind of balance, not always on the rule of thirds, but make some kind of balance.
One thing I really care about in composition is layering. And by layering, I mean you have a foreground, a middle ground, and a background, and they're all working together. They're not fighting with each other. The background is giving you more information about the foreground. It's, to me, I find layered photographs a sophisticated composition and very interesting because your eye moves around. And I also think in a photograph that's strongly composed that there are small pictures within a big picture. You can look at the back of a picture and there's another photo there. You can kind of just like crop it in your mind. And so there are a lot of pictures within a picture in a really strongly composed photograph.
I like clean, simple lines. When you look through any of my photography, very seldom do you see a lot of background. It's not about the location to me. It's about the face and about the subject. Once I have identified the location where I want my subject to appear, where I want them to be, the most important element that has to go into it is having my subject forget the camera's there. The most important thing for me is to get them to relax. I don't want them to think about it as a photographic experience. You see, if they start thinking of it in the photographic session as a photographic entity, I lose their soul. I lose who they are as a person. I really want to draw from them who they are. So I quite often will ask them questions about, what kind of things do they like to do? What makes them happy? Really questions about, what's their favorite color? Or, what do you do for a living? And I pay very close attention to the expressions on their face as I communicate with them, because small things will happen with their mouth or their eyes that will show a little bit of excitement. I find that the more equipment that I have, the more uncomfortable that they become, because it becomes a more photographic experience. And that at the end of the day, expression rules. Expression over perfection. Don't make it so hard to get an image and work it to death so in such a difficult way that you kill the magic. Because at the end of the day, it's about this if you're photographing people. It's about, getting what's in the soul.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and thanks to our guests, Joe McNally, Camille Seaman, Ed Kashi, Joey Al, Deanne Fitzmaurice, and Bambi Cantrell. Hit that like button and subscribe now, and leave your comments. I love hearing from you. Follow me on Instagram and hashtag your photos AYP Club. I'll see you in the next video, and remember to get out and capture your own images of life.